Happening today, U.S. military veterans are preparing to head out on the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight, and a Bay City Army vet is one of them. ABC 12's Cheryl Coonan is joining us live now from Flint's Bishop International Airport ahead of this morning's flight. Cheryl, you have the remarkable story of escape, survival, and resilience, and you'll be tagging along on this trip.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. Bob Hayhurst is taking part in his very first Mid-Michigan Honor Flight, and I had a chance to sit down with him recently, and he reflected on his time in the military and his time as a prisoner of war in South Vietnam, and how a split-second decision meant the difference between being captive for 5 years and freedom.
In 1968, January 31st, the Tet Offensive broke out. This is I'm not sure how many thousands of North Vietnamese invaded the city of Hue.
Robert Hayhurst, or Bob, is a Wisconsin native who has called Bay City home for decades.
Captured the whole city.
He served in the U.S. Army from 1966 until 1969, studying Army intelligence right after earning his college degree.
We held them off. The 5 of us held our little house off for a couple of days before we ran out of ammunition and got captured. They killed 2 of us.
He recalls February 2nd, the second day of being held captive, and he and his friend and fellow Army soldier Ed's birthdays.
We were all bound up, just laying there getting soaked all night long in the rain. Cold, shivering. Wake up the next morning, I said, "Happy birthday, Ed." It was our 25th birthday. He said, "Happy birthday, Bob."
They were among over 24 other Americans also captured, beaten, whipped, and interrogated before the enemy moved them to neighboring Laos, and before the life-changing decision they would make just weeks later.
Had an opportunity one morning to, after breakfast, they're not watching, we asked a bunch of the fellows if they wanted to go with us, said no, the war will be over soon.
So Bob and Ed made their escape.
The river got about as wide as the Saginaw River here.
They floated down the river out of Laos into Vietnam. They hid in the jungle, and then they spotted American boot tracks, which led them to a U.S. Marine camp. Little did they know they were walking through a minefield at the time.
Told them our story, and bingo, they took us. And he eventually got sent back to the United States, and,
Bob finished out his service in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as a special agent military intelligence. He was awarded a Silver Star for distinguished service. After the war was over, 5 years later, he and the other 600 prisoners who were released were invited to the White House to meet then-President Nixon.
Still never leaves your mind, never leaves your mind.
Now today, accompanied by his son, Bob is one of dozens of other military veterans boarding the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight. He's one of the speakers at the event during the trip. He tells us he's looking forward to the memorials and meeting fellow veterans. But even today, perhaps nearly as remarkable as his story of capture and escape, hope and resilience is his humility.
Do you feel like you're brave?
No. I don't think we got away with something, but I'm just an ordinary guy, I think, or was.
And his message to others is simple yet powerful.
Never give up. Things could always be better. There's a way to get through everything, No matter what the situation is, don't give up.
And again, Bob will be on that Mid-Michigan Honor Flight, Mission 23, that heads out later this morning, visiting the World War II Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, Arlington National Cemetery, and much more. He'll also be sharing his story of bravery and hope at an event during the journey. And we'll, of course, take you along with us on that journey for an inside look. For now, live at Bishop International Airport, Cheryl Coonan, ABC 12 News.